Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham, and we're through to the fourth round of the Cup, but my word, we don't make it easy, do we? And that second string that has been awful for about 4 seasons is still giving chances and still aren't taking them. A lot to unwrap here, and then we've got this huge game, Chelsea in the second leg, which we've got to overturn. Eugene's in the chat. How you doing, Eugene?
Good, brother.
Hope you're doing well. Everyone in the chat, hit the like, hit the subscribe. And then go into the description to find my 2 guest streams as well. Start with Brian. And firstly, Brian, congratulations on passing 2K subscribers.
Thank you.
Tottenham Talk, thoroughly deserved. For anyone who doesn't know or can't be bothered to look in the description, where can they find Tottenham Talk?
They can find us only on YouTube. We have Facebook and Twitter. I'm meant to be doing Facebook, but I'm doing a hideous job at it because I've just been so busy. But Brian Island mans the Twitter. But Adam Clark will be taking over Instagram and Facebook, so we will be a bit more active. Yeah, thank you for the congratulations. I've been working bloody hard recently since I've been back. We all have, but obviously I'm the media whore of the group, so I've really been strutting my stuff. But yeah, thank you to all the subscribers, and yeah, Tottenham on Tour is where they can find me. Excellent.
So check that out. Brian's been on here loads of times, and welcome back, second time, Vez from Shelfside Spurs. Where can people find that if they don't want to look in the description?
You can find us on YouTube on the Shelfside Spurs Show. You can find us on Twitter with the same handle, and you can find myself on Twitter at @bat_spur if you want to see some random ramblings on occasion. You can follow me there, and we're everywhere. I'm a bit of a media whore as well. Obviously, I have to follow Brian around and make sure he's getting legal representation.
Stand right. It's needed. Or about to be needed.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm all over the place.
Wes, quick question. When you said Shelfside Spurs Show, shouldn't that be quadruple S, not SSS?
It should be. We choose to drop the show part of it, and it's just go with SSS, basically, Shelfside Spurs.
There we go. That makes sense.
Excellent. And follow Mark Swift's lead here. Hit that sub, hit that like, and sub to Tottenham Tour and sub to Shelfside Spurs too. He hasn't mentioned this channel because obviously he has liked it and he has subscribed. Everyone else, please do the same. It really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. Oh dear, let's get into this. Brian, I'll start with you. Morecambe, is it time to worry, or is it the FA Cup magic that a lesser team with defensive frailties can put that to one side and forget about it for one day, playing in a stadium where, with all due respect, they're probably not going to play in their career, and it gives them a boost? Is it time to worry? It was time to worry however many years ago when that second string started playing. But is it time to worry 10 days in? No real sign of transfer talk. I have to say as well, if anyone hasn't watched it, go to, what's it called? Tottenham TV. We are Tottenham TV. We are Tottenham TV. And check out the debate that Brian and Ben had about transfers. This was 7 days in. This was a few days ago. But yeah, time to worry? Or is it the magic of the FA Cup which allowed Morecambe to play without fear and without any pressure?
Time to worry. You said 10 days. I'm going more on 14 years since Shelfside. It's most definitely time to worry.
But I've got to try and maintain some kind of positive thing. So 14 years, 10 days sounds a lot better than 14 years.
Exactly. I mean, no, it was also magic of the FA Cup. Listen, I'm sure we're going to speak about that parasite within this show. So we'll leave that for a bit because we haven't passed the 10-minute mark, and I know exactly where I'll go on that. So listen. It was if I had to describe, and I said it on We Are Tottenham TV when I was in the studio yesterday, if I had to describe that first half performance as a team, the one word I would use is abysmal. If I had to describe 2 players' performances, being Ali and Ndombele, that word would be abysmal.
We're getting on to Ndombele in a little bit.
Why did he do something yesterday, or the lack of not doing anything yesterday?
It's more the fans' reaction to him not doing anything that I want to talk about.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
People know what we're talking about there.
Exactly, but the thing is, once again, this team has been struggling unless it brings on the big guns. This team has been struggling. Every team knows how to do it. Mura did it. Watford did it. Southampton did it. Um,
Yeah.
Morecambe did it. I'll just play a low block. Let's just stay disciplined. Just stay in your banks of 4 or your banks or whatever. Stay disciplined. Low block. We don't have a client. They won't have a clue what to do. They won't have a clue what to do.
And
And
press.
that's what happened once again. We have no creativity. We have no spark. And it just carries on. And if every team, even if a team like Manchester City, who we have good results with, apart from, or Liverpool, and they play their expansive football, they could just say, listen, let's just low block Tottenham. They won't score. We've got the pass. Every team just has to low block us and stay disciplined, and we're done for. We're done for.
Yep.
A couple of comments here. Mark Swift, Levy, get the money out. I can guarantee you, Mark, we'll be talking about transfers a bit later. And Chris Agambar, how you doing? We played horrendously. But there's, like Brian said there, the big guns bailed us out. I'm furious that Harry Kane was anywhere near the stadium and not with his kids at home watching Disney Plus. He needs a bloody vest. Højbjerg the same. At least he didn't come on, so he got some kind of a vest. But Son's injured, which we'll come on to a bit later on. So if Harry Kane gets injured as well, we're buggered. But yeah, I mean, what do you put it down to yesterday? Magic of the FA Cup, the second string players wanting to leave and not putting the effort in, not good enough, bit of both. What do you all put it down to? I mean, it is important as well to mention that Liverpool had a scare as well. They couldn't bring all their big guns on because they're in the African Cup of Nations at the moment. They did bring Minamino and Firmino on, so they had a little bit of a scare as well, which is essentially what we had. It's just that they don't generally have that kind of scare, and we've had it a few times. But what do you put it down to yesterday?
It would be you could argue that it was the magic of the FA Cup if we hadn't seen the exact same thing happen with other players, with other teams, with that second string, with a second string Spurs side, right? Vitesse did it to us. Royal Antwerp did it to us. Dynamo Zagreb did it to us. You know, there's not that much magic in football for it to always be magic when it's against Spurs, you know. Yeah, okay. We're not playing Hogwarts United, you know.
We struggle against them, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, they'll be on broomsticks. The point is, and you know what? At first, it used to be a case of, well, the second string isn't good enough. Then it's got to the point. It's not that the second string isn't good enough. They don't even seem like footballers anymore, half of them, right? How is it possible for this group of people to not be able to string some passes together? The number of balls that I saw miscontrolled, the number of things that were hit too hard, not hit hard enough, you know, not necessarily wayward, but just sort of like pinging a pass into someone who doesn't need it at that speed. And then no control. It's like, what is going on? Why can you people not do the fundamentals? These are things.
You know? That comes to the lack of a creative midfielder. I think. I think it's something like that because Chris Agambar's put a comment in here. Morecambe didn't even sit back. They were quite open. We didn't have the quality in the second string to exploit that. And your point there without being able to pass. Harry Winks has shown in previous games that he is able to pass. It's just he needs the big guns, the Kanes there, to be able to do it. He can't do it himself, which, as well as he's played in the last month or whatever it's been, he's 27 now. He's he has been an England international. You should be able to take it. Delhi the same, and Ndombele, who we'll definitely get onto. I mean, you're good enough against most teams to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And we're talking about a League One, I think, side here who are conceding goals by the dozen, and it's just. It just goes to, as well, the lack of a creative player and the lack of a leader in there. We've only got one or two. We got two leaders. One of them sits in goal. The other one tries to score the goals at the other end. Højbjerg as well. I'm being a bit unfair to Højbjerg. Obviously, he was on the bench. But we need more. And to have our big hitters come on, I mean, we've got through it. It could be worse. It could be Arsenal playing Nottingham Forest.
But the point is that what's it called? Conte turned around and said that the problems at Spurs are not going to be solved just in the transfer market. There's something else going on. I've been talking about it for, I feel like, years now. You know, there's something rotten in the state of Tottenham, right?
Oh, I know.
Four words begins with L. 4 letters begins with L.
No, or 7 letters begins with P.
Yeah, but the
I think
point
it's 8
is,
letters.
8 letters, 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure what a parasite is.
We'll fix it after. It's fine. We'll fix it after. But the issue is that we can turn around and say or say about these players, I'm sorry, what you delivered was not good enough. All right. Here's the real thing. And I know we'll get onto him specifically later, but I saw this in Alistair Gold's one of his articles today, and it really hit home. So Tanguy Ndombele was up against 3 Morecambe midfielders who cost £60 million less than he did.
Yeah.
Right? He should have been ripping that midfield apart, single-handed, by himself. We could have played 4-1-4, right? And he should have been able to boss that midfield, right? 2 free transfers, and one of them is on loan from Leeds' development squad, right? And yet they outplayed him. And he is supposed to be a £60 million player, and he has delusions of thinking that he should be playing for the elite of Europe. You're lucky that you're not playing in League 2, right? And then you do what you did later as well. No, not good enough.
Yeah.
Not
We've got a comment here from Kelly JTV. Sorry, Brian. 1/3 of the transfer window gone. Have a sinking feeling Conte will be levied. I think if that happens, Brian will get vested. But we'll come on to that a bit later. But yeah, sorry, Brian.
No, what I was about to say in response to that comment before I speak, what I was about to say, when I had that argument with Ben, he was like, "Oh, it's the first week. Oh, it's the first week." Well, now it's the first 10 days, and it's the first third. How much longer does it go on? Where we go, "Oh, don't worry, it's going to happen. It's going to." No, especially with the fixtures we have. The fixtures we've got are huge fixtures. But I want to go back to that you said where Liverpool had an escape. Liverpool get through these fixtures because they have winners. Because they have a manager, or we've got the manager, because they've won a Champions League, because they've won a league, because they regularly they have a winning mentality, and they have a team that have bought into the mentality of the manager. So they're like we have with Prime Posh, that they will run through brick walls, that they will do this. They did it against Shrewsbury with no disrespect to Shrewsbury. We knew it was going to happen. They did it against Leicester when Rez and I were watching the West Ham game Spurs together. They literally, all right, they had a few big stars out there, but a lot of it was youngsters. They get the job done.
Correct.
Because they are surrounded by winners. They are surrounded.
But is there not an argument that we got the job done yesterday as well, just playing devil's
but I'm saying eventually. But when you're saying at the beginning when you said Liverpool had a scare, Liverpool will always do it. Look at it. You go as far back as the 2005 Champions League when they're 3-0 down to Milan. Liverpool may not have won the league for a hell of a long time, but they are predominantly winning a Europa League, a Carabao Cup, or whatever the hell it was called then, an FA Cup, getting Champions League football. They've been doing this for decades. That football and that club stand for something. Have ethics. What's it called? Philosophy. They have everything. And what they do is when a manager goes, they keep a manager that plays the same style of football that Liverpool want every single time along the route. An attractive, maybe different type of attacking football, but it's attacking football. We go defensive manager, attacking manager, defensive manager, defensive manager, attacking manager. There's always a goddamn change. And these teams, like a Liverpool, like a United who occasionally get away, it's because they're winners. Because they're surrounded by winners and they get it done.
Look at their
We
fans.
have Hugo Lloris.
No, but look at their fans. We will take the piss out of their fans saying that they're entitled, but there's a reason why they're entitled. Because they are used to, at the very, very least, being competitive. The last few years where we kept consistently finishing above them was an aberration in their history. It was an unusual situation. Liverpool are always, for most of the time, in the equation, right? They're always in the conversation. Will Liverpool mount a title challenge this season? That's never been off the cards. When was the last time they actually said that seriously about us? You know?
Probably last season of the Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we
And
got a comment here?
even then, it was an outside thing. It was like,
Big up Ryan.
they're doing unusually well for Spurs. Maybe there's a title challenge in there somewhere. Whereas with Liverpool, it's every season at the beginning of the season, Liverpool will be in the discussion, always, automatically, right? And this is the thing that's pissing me off the most, is that they're talking about Levy being in the Bahamas, right? Trying to convince Joe Lewis to invest, allegedly, and he's not interested, so he's looking for outside investment. We're the 6th biggest club in the country. We've got money, spend it.
I mean, Ryan's comment here, how you doing, Ryan? Conte looks broken already. I hope that's not true. And we'll get on to Ndombele now, because Chris has put, Agambar has put a really good comment in. If that was me playing a lower division team, I'd be up for it, because I would think it would be a good opportunity to get some more goals to my name and or assists. And that goes for Dele as well. But Ndombele got...
about him.
Okay, we'll stick with Ndombele. But he 3 players came off. I think it was a treble substitution. It was at least a double one. The other one of them being Ndombele, the other one, or the other 2, ran off. He walked off to a chorus of boos. I mean, Brian, is he finished at Spurs? I think even if he's finished and doesn't play again, he's got to get out, whether that's a loan, whether that's a sale. And who's going to want him? I'm actually disappointed that I was wrong. After it's happened before. After Jose publicly called him out, he seemed to knuckle down and force his way back in. So I thought he had like this mentality that he's a fighter and is willing to fight for a place. Now he just seems to just be sulking off, walking off, and it's complete turnaround to what we saw under Jose. And I mean, for me, he's finished at Spurs. Whether he'll be sold, loaned out, whatever. But I think we talked about Aurier in the summer. I think Ndombele is a real bad egg there. I think he'll bring the dressing room down. So he's got to get out for me. But for you, is he finished at Spurs?
For a long time. For a long time. Listen,
how you doing,
when we bought him, he was one of Europe's top midfielders. We've watched YouTube. We have we've seen this guy. He's good. Look what he's done to Manchester City. So we buy him in. Now, when you try to sell this bastard, you're going to hear he doesn't like it when his friends aren't there. He's got bad mentality. He doesn't watch what he eats. He's a bad trainer. He performs when he wants, and then he'll walk off in a sulk. Would you like him? Who's going to say? Who's going to say, oh, yeah, that sounds like just the player we need to galvanise our squad or rejuvenate us? This whole thing, the whole scouting network, and everyone goes, it's not a Levy problem, it's a scouting problem. Who hires the scouts? Who holds the scouts accountable?
That's it, exactly.
It's him. Exactly. It's him, but no, it doesn't. He goes elsewhere, and he doesn't do everything. He's bollocks. And Ndombele, what he done was absolutely fucking... I said it to Ben whilst we're in the start, before he booed in the start. It was vile. It was the height of disrespect, not just to the players, not just to the manager, but to the fans that have got there. Now, the FA Cup third round is traditionally a day where families take their children because it's cheaper tickets, they're openly available. So it's a day when you take your kids and your family and you have a really nice experience.
It's like a party.
Some of them are aspiring footballers. What kind of a role model and example is that?
Yeah.
Was that the fact that Dele Alli? All right, we'll get on to Dele Alli. Dele Alli at least did the right thing and got off the pitch because they've stopped that rule. You get off where it is closest and you walk around, and he did that. Still think he was absolutely pathetic in the game, but he did that. Brian Hill, talk about the frog and the hare and the snail, or whatever, that hare and the toad, whatever the fuck. I've never seen. Thank you, bloody hell! That was what's going wrong with me. Well, I'm making my own way up. The hare and the snail sounds good. But yeah, it's like when you saw Hill sprinting to get off, and Ndombele. Now, what I've heard, I don't know if it's official. I saw it released on a few Twitter. Apparently, the Spurs players really laid into Ndombele at half time to say, "What the fuck are you doing?" And pretty much probably is saying along with Wesley, you're a £60 million.
I mean, to be fair though, not really. Many of them have got the right to have a go at him after the performance yesterday. They should have been having a go at each other, but then that's not like a really good.
Well, you got to look at it, Chris, as well. And we said it. He's on 200 grand a week. You look at people like a Davies and a Winks, who are nowhere near that combined.
That's right.
Weekly wage, and you see the dedication, passion, commitment, aggression, determination, everything they give. They may not be able to put in great performances to the level of an Ndombele at his highest heights, but you can't doubt their commitment. No, you can't doubt their dedication to the cause.
That's right.
You can't deny their fight for the badge, whereas this prick does that. And then, you know what? The worst thing about it is it just reminded me of Xhaka with Arsenal a few years ago. And the fact that we now got... And this guy, I take it from me, because this club are so fucking ridiculously run, you won't be held accountable. There won't be you're being fined a week's wage or whatever. I'll be like, just don't do that again, and just try and play well.
Conte might do something. Conte isn't one to take stuff like that lightly. But a couple of comments here. The argument in the change room, Mark Swift sounds like a pub, and Cody's just gone out to buy the Frog and the Snail bedtime story to read to his daughter. But I would come to Vez now, but he's left the stream and been replaced by Angry Vez. But Cody and Colin are very appreciative of that, so we'll stick with Angry Vez. Vez,
it's what happens when you stick on streams with me for too long. Chris, you're Exhibit A. Chris knows he's Exhibit A.
Yeah. Brian's a role model in terms of anger. Anyone wants to get angry, listen to Brian. But there's Ndombele for you. I mean, it's not just disrespect to our fans and everything like that. It's disrespect to Morecambe as well and their players. It's a huge game for a lot of them. And most of them have probably invited their families along to watch them play at Tottenham Stadium. Where do we go with Ndombele? I mean, you're not going to get the 60 million, which historically Levy wants the money that he paid for players. You might get a loan with an option to buy, similar that Liverpool have done with Coutinho. There's no obligation, which then, if he still doesn't decide to buck up, then we just have him back next year. What do we do with Ndombele?
To be honest, for me it is the nightmare scenario. I honestly believe that Ndombele is going to be part of our squad until his contract expires. I mean, with possible loan moves during that time, but he will be coming back to us whenever there's a transfer window, basically. Okay, because I don't believe. Right, let's look at it logically. Right, are Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, Juventus, clubs like that, are they going to want him? No. What's he done? Nothing.
When we got him, he was linked with Europe's elite, wasn't he? But his stock has now fallen.
Yeah, but no, they didn't make one solid bid for them.
Exactly. On the flip side, is he going to want to go to Villa, Everton, Dortmund, Inter, places like that? Probably not, right? Maybe Inter a big club, right? But is he going to want to go to the second string of Europe? No. So what's he going to do? He's going to sit in our training ground and on the bench from time to time, earning his wage, and we're not going to be able to get rid of him. I honestly believe there's a nightmare scenario will happen.
He's on a fortune as well, isn't he, compared to
there's
our wages, which...
There's something like £30 million worth of wages that he is yet to collect. Something ridiculous like that. 10 million a year, and he's got about 3 years left, 2.5 years, right? Yeah. The guy, we have utterly screwed ourselves by not doing our due diligence when we were going in for him, right? A proper scouting network would have identified, and you don't even need a proper scouting. You just read the papers. His own coach questioned his application before he left Lyon. I mean, what more of a warning do you need?
I mean, did we buy him because he was linked with all of these European clubs, whether they put bids in or not? Do you think we got him just so they didn't, in case they did bid?
We got him, and I'll tell you why we got him. We got him because we've gone 18 months without a transfer, and Jack Clark wouldn't have cut the mustard. So we had to make a big purchase. When I say a big purchase, I mean smash transfer record fee or a star or this deal had to be done. And when I say deal, I didn't mean for Ndombele specifically, but a big deal had to become after 18 months of nothing. And he watched YouTube. And do you know what? The only good thing about it is I hope Levy watches more YouTube, specifically Tottenham Hotspur football channels and specifically ones that I'm on, because then he can get. I'll give him a scouting report. Yeah, but this is where we're at. I mean, the only way I can get rid of him, is I wish I could get hold of him. Is literally to get rid of him. I think the only way we do it is via like a straightforward player exchange, or we'll give you Ndombele and whatever you want, and we'll take him in return, because no one's, if we send him out on loan, no one with football how it is today is paying 200 grand a week for him, so we're gonna have to subsidise his wages.
Yeah, I think we just get him out. However, doesn't matter how. It's just he's a proper bad apple, I think, and he's going to bring everybody down. And we just have to get him out. If we lose money out of it, which we will, if we lose money out of it, we lose money out of it. But we've got someone out of the club.
If we put a 0 transfer fee on him, I still don't think anyone would take him. I honestly don't.
Well, do you know what? You say that.
I think someone would take him if it was like a loan and we'll pay half his wages, because then it's not a huge risk.
But then
free, essentially, and only 100 grand.
But he's going to have to want to go there, and he doesn't. This is what drives me nuts about him. He seems to think he should be playing at the top table.
So I've got a question for you.
He has the ability to play at the top table. It's all about application. Mickey Hazard, I think, on Tottenham away said, it's attitude. Attitude is the biggest thing to. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. The biggest thing to decide whether you're a top player or not, because all of these players, they're Premier League players, obviously have the ability. It's attitude. And just a couple of comments before I come on to you again, Brian. Apologies. Scott M, how you doing, buddy? Last season, I was hopeful we could swap him for a player that was out of favour at their club. Now I'm not so sure, even if that's likely or possible. Mark Swift wants to know if you're going to kiss him to get him out.
I ain't kissing nobody. I'll give Levy a Scottish kiss, a Glasgow kiss, put it that way.
And Barnabas saying we signed Ndombele because he's bossed it against Man City in the Champions League. He was superb in that, but that's one game. And Chris Agambar, we may lose money out of it, but he would be saving money on wages. And Simply Ace, how you doing, buddy? Ndombele yesterday against Morecambe, unfortunately sums up his career at Tottenham. But sorry to cut in there, Brian. I've done that twice now. I do apologise.
I mean, you're going to send you off from your own channel if you carry on like this, Chris.
I'll talk to you at the pub about it on Wednesday, Brian. We'll have a
chat. Phil from Tottenham from God. I don't know where he got this from, or if he said this question himself, but it was a great question. So, this is for the pair of you and people in the chat as well. So Ndombele apparently is still owed by us for the length of his contract over £30 million in wages. Mm-hmm. If you just let him go now, I could save that 36 million. Do you see that as you're recouping? You're not exactly losing 36 or making, but you're keeping 36 million pound of the fucking money.
No, you're not.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay him out.
There'd have to be a settlement, basically.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Right now, if there's a settlement, that's what I'm trying to get. So if there was a settlement right now, would you see it as in just like we did with Aurier? Aurier was the last month of his contract, but it's like the money you spend getting him out, you're saving the rest on that 36, whatever it is, million.
I think the issue with that is that Levy was obviously quite rightly criticised with getting rid of. I think Nuno was he £15 million compensation? Jose definitely was, and then you're essentially giving compensation double that money for Ndombele.
That's what we do. We don't spend money on transfers; we spend it on compensation. So let's just carry on that role. Let's just pay people.
I don't think he'll do that though, because that's all that he'll be get with it. And I mean, there is a player there. There is a player. You've seen his skill and his ability, but the attitude is just not there. And I mean, Conte ain't going to settle for that. I mean, I agree with Chris Agambar. We get rid of him. Just get rid of him. However, just get rid of him.
It's easier said than done. That's the worst of it. That is the worst of it. I mean, look at Aurier, right? Aurier, it was like pulling teeth before we finally terminated his contract, right? There's no way that Daniel Levy is going to look at his most expensive acquisition and do the same thing. I think we should, if that's the last option. If no one else wants him, get him the hell out of the club. But it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? If our situation wasn't quite so dire, if it wasn't quite so bad, you could just about live with it. You could just about live with him sticking around, you know, shove him in the under-23s where he won't get under anyone's feet and let him sit out his fat contract for the next 2.5 years. And then afterwards, we will quite happily see the back of him. But we're in such dire straits. We're in so much difficulty right now that it amplifies. Every tiny problem is amplified into a major problem. You know, again, I keep quoting Alistair Gold. He turned around and said, in his YouTube thing, he said that Ndombele is supposed to be the solution to our problems. In actual fact, he's probably one of our biggest problems. You know?
Yeah. Another thing I was absolutely furious about, possibly the thing I was furious about, is this guy, and not with him. Harry Kane doesn't play. I'll come to you first, Viz. Harry Kane doesn't play. You've got a striker there who I know from on either this stream or streams I've been on with Brian has said that he's been likened to Michael Owen.
No, I liken him. Oh,
right, okay. I do apologise. But he's a striker. He's 18. Why isn't he bloody playing? But instead, you put Dele up there, who's never played striker in his life, and I think Hill up there as well. But if you're not going to play Dane Scarlett, he shouldn't be at the club. He should be on loan somewhere to assist his development. You can learn as much as you want from Harry Kane, talking to him at training and everything like that, and watching him engage. But unless you're putting it into practice, you ain't going to learn a thing that quickly. So I was furious. He was on the bench and he didn't even come on. What was that just a sign of how shit this club is run from the top, and how the people at the top don't know anything about football? But then Conte is the one who makes the decisions, and he didn't use him at all. He needs to go on loan for me, or he starts playing.
I would imagine it's emergency situation. It's a case of I've got to name a bench, and so I'm naming Dane Scarlett because I've got to name a bench. And I've got to try and keep it as balanced as possible. But he's 17 still. I don't think he's turned 18 yet, has he? But, let's say he has.
He was. 17, 18, he's still very young.
18. Yeah, he is very young. It's a lot of pressure to put. We remember when we were all screaming for Troy Parrott to be given his chance. And when he did, he came on and did.
Yeah. But it's not so much pressure yesterday because it's against Morecambe, a League One team who, if he was on loan, he'd be playing against those kind of teams.
But this is where Levy is responsible for that situation too. Because Dane Scarlett wouldn't have just been coming on to play against Morecambe. He would be coming on to replace Harry Kane. That's the problem. Right? If, say, for instance, we had three other strikers, senior strikers, including Harry.
I'm so stupid, Rez.
Yeah, I know. I'm living in Wonderland. But let's say we had those, and Harry wasn't playing, and the other two were injured, and then Dane Scarlett is brought on. There's no pressure on him. Everyone knows he has to play him. If he comes on now, anytime Scarlett sets foot on that pitch in place of Harry Kane, it will be. He's got to do as well as Harry Kane, right? And I can imagine Conte being wise enough not to do that to him.
Yeah, that's possibly true. Simply Ace has said he should have gone on loan for 1 or 2 years like Skip did, then be more ready for the Premier League. Absolutely agree. And good comment from Ryan McFarlane, pretty much kind of emphasising what you just said there, Rez. He would get crucified by a fan base if he started with those Muppets yesterday. Unfair to him to start with the Z team as they have ruined his confidence. But that then goes to what Simply A says and what I said earlier, Brian. Get him out on loan. Get him some first team opportunity with players, a team that have some bloody creativity or fullbacks that can cross a ball. I just don't understand why he hasn't gone on there when we've seen what's happened with Skip. Had a brilliant loan spell last year. Now looks like he's been in our midfield for years. Harry Kane hasn't done too badly, has he, with a few loan deals? Dele Alli didn't go on loan, but he obviously started in League One with MK Dons, so he's got that that experience really early on. Why don't you think he's ever gone on loan if he's not going to play? Which, from what Ryan and Vez was saying there, would potentially damage his confidence because he's not going to score the goals that Harry does because there's not the creativity there.
So before I really tuck into Scarlet, it's because we are stupid Club FC.
Correct.
Run by buffoons FC. No idea on football FC. So first of all, what I will say, rumours came out today, and they're pretty strong rumours. And this goes to show with Scarlet that apparently we are not looking for a second striker, and we don't see that as an essential thing that we need to get.
Well, that suggests that Scarlett's going to play, but if he doesn't, why is he not playing and why is he not on loan?
But Chris, for 7 years, we have all seen, even blind people can see that we need a second striker. It's needed. Harry Kane cannot. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, we got Son. Oh, no, wait a minute. Straight after I did that debate with Ben on Friday, bang, Son gets an injury. We're screwed. I love Scarlett. And like I said, I stand by it. Scarlett will be like the next Michael Owen. And when he started getting his chance this year, I really wanted him to grab it. But he wasn't taking it. Then I looked further and said, the reason why he didn't take it is because he's been playing with a bunch of the team that we can't trust. If Scarlett plays, Scarlett needs to play with a human son or a Harry Kane next to him to say, right, listen, I'll help you get through the game. This is how we do it. Harry Kane can drop into Teddy Sheringham role, as we say, play the balls. So he's got some genuine quality there. Not a Giola Anderson, not a Tango, go fuck yourself. Not one of them. Genuine quality. But no, we can't do that. We just put him in and think you're a 17-year-old wonder boy, off you go. You do it in the under-23s, off you go. Doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. But then he couldn't come on because we can't play Kane because we have to wrap him up and cut on wall. We played Dele Alli, and I don't care what anyone goddamn says. Dele Alli, just like Rez said with Tanguy, Dele Alli should be single-handedly be saying, you know what? It's Morecambe, like he should have done with Mura when he was captain, or Vitesse, and go, do you know what? I'm goddamn Dele Alli.
Like he was doing at MK Dons with League One position, at the age of 18.
And it was like, right, we need to beef up and put our stamp of authority on this game. I'm Dele Alli. I'm going to grab this game. The ball might not be coming to me. I'm going to go grab the ball and win this game single-handedly, or at least affect it. But no, we'll just stay up there and we'll do a little flick at the corner. We'll do a little clap and flick our hair to see if Timothée or Head and Shoulders are watching, to see if we can get some kind of new merchandise deal. Dane Scarlett cannot play up there by himself. He cannot physically do it. I love him. He is a 17-year-old kid. You bring him on, and he doesn't have the support. You're going to affect his confidence, and it'll become a Troy Parrott. This kid needs to go out on loan, but we can't send him out on loan because Kane's injured. Son's injured. Kane's already recognised striker. We can't get Kane injured because then we're going to use the 7. The whole club is pathetic.
Do you know how I saw it described as on Twitter today? So a Spurs fan on Twitter described it as a casserole of nonsense. And I turned around and said, casserole of nonsense with dumplings of disappointment. And that's what we are. I mean, really, we are a basket case. We turned around. We used to describe Arsenal as the basket case, and we have just surpassed them again.
Yeah. Alan has said Dele's been nothing since Ericsson left. And there's talk of bringing Ericsson back. I mean, that fills me with a lot of dread. But let's get on to something which could send this nuclear. I'll let Brian stew a little bit to think of his response. I'll come to you, Rez, first. And then when Brian's had his chance, then we'll come to Andy, Rez. But Adama Traoré is the big rumour at the moment.
You know what? My camera's going to be off because I think it's time for one of these before I go.
Adama Traoré is the big rumour, obviously.
I'm still with you. Yeah. I'm just
presumably in a Conte system, if it comes to fruition as a right wing back, in a similar vein that Victor Moses was that left wing back for him at Chelsea. There's now talk of Vlahovic going to Arsenal, when we were apparently not, maybe front runners, but front runners in terms of the rumours. And no other real links to anyone other than people like Ericsson, which when we're running 14 kilometres more a game than we were against with Nuno, and we all saw what happened to him in the Euros. It's just a recipe for not disaster, but absolute catastrophe and tragedy, which I think is just absolutely balmy. I mean, whether that was newspapers, because Conte said he's welcome to train with us any time, so whether they've jumped the gun and said, oh, he's welcome to come back to the club any time. But I mean, firstly, Traore, Vlahovic. Right. Any other transfers, ins, outs, open forum, anything?
The fact, listen, I mean, if Conte wants Traore, then I want Traore, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is always the thing banded around, simply saying, great player we need with no end product. But
and they're right. They're right. He doesn't have an end product. But if Conte thinks that he can do a job for us, that's his prerogative, and I trust him in that judgment. But the point is this, right? Traore, if we get him, this window would cost about £20 million, right?
That's a good deal, isn't it? On paper for Traore, but I'm not sure it's the player that we need.
But we need to be spending. I'm not saying in this window, but our squad requires at minimum a £200 million outlay on new players, right? And the only link we've had this transfer window, 10 days, almost fully a third of the transfer window has gone by, and we are linked with one £20 million player. Okay, we should have been balls deep for Vlahovic. Okay, £70 million is a proportion of what we should be looking to spend. Not people are saying, well, if we buy Vlahovic, that's enough spend. No, I'm sorry, it isn't. It's nowhere near enough. It's not even a third, or it's about a third of what we should be spending, right? Adama Traore, that's the sum total of your business this winter. Fine, it's the January transfer window. Oh, it's difficult to do business. Well, Villa don't seem to have had any problems.
No.
You know, Watford haven't seemed to have had any problems. You know, clubs are buying players, right? Look at Gerrard. He's only been there a month and a bit, and they're backing him. They're backing him.
I think part of Levy's problem is he likes to do late business, doesn't he? But you need to get in there quick. You need to get in there quick and be proactive. And I think there's a possibility that he's looking to get Vlahovic in the summer. So is everybody else. Get him now. Get him now.
Do the deal now.
Jump the gun. Get him now.
If you want to wait until the summer, I'm fine. Whatever. Okay, let's say he wants to stay at Fiorentina and help them, do well this season. I respect that. No problem at all. Right. And this season for me is a transition season. Right. It's not. I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting us to win anything. I'm not expecting us to get a fourth. Nothing. No expectations from me whatsoever. Right. But I want us to be in the news every day. Tottenham have done this. Tottenham have done that. Tottenham are doing this. Tottenham will sign him. Tottenham will be looking to get him in. Right. Not on the 10th of January. Oh, yeah, we might go for Traore. It depends on if the wind blows the right way and if we can see the moon at night. Fucking get it done.
Yeah, right. So we've had Angry Rez. Now we go on to Brian Nuclear Daigle. Transfers. Talk to me.
First of all, let's talk about Dusan. I've been going on about Dusan for ages. So has everyone else. Now, Dusan, one of the things I've loved about him is he has said, I'm not signing a contract, but I'm going to stay and do whatever it takes until I go to get Fiorentina where they need to be, which is commendable, which is a breath of fresh air, which you love to hear. He has then come out with the comments, I want to fire Fiorentina into Europe. Again, to be commended.
Yeah.
What Dusan Vlahovic wants is bullshit. If Tottenham turn around to Fiorentina and go, here's £80 million, and Fiorentina say yes, they will say, go and talk to Tottenham. They're giving us 80 million.
Yeah.
Dusan has the right to turn it down and say, no, I want to stay for the summer. But if Fiorentina say...
It shows intent, doesn't it? It shows intent on our part.
If Tottenham turn around and go, okay, Dusan wants to stay, but will Fiorentina want him to stay if we go, wallop, there's your asking fee? Just like Southampton would have wanted a Van Dijk to stay.
Yeah.
But money fucking talks and bullshit walks. And funnily enough, we have had bullshit in our midst. Now, what I want to talk about, Adama Traore. Did we go through him in the summer?
We were linked whether we put a bit. I think they wanted 35 million, and Levy said, "Here's a pack of crisps and a loan deal." Or something.
So obviously, people know I've been in the studio this week with Ben all week or last week, and I've had to listen to every day. Tottenham are interested. Tottenham might make formal approach. Tottenham are thinking about making formal approach. Tottenham have registered interest. Tottenham may make their and today I got to hear Tottenham will make bid this week. Well, yesterday he got cup tied, so any progress in the FA Cup we make done. We have this month we have got Chelsea twice, the Filth and Leicester. Yet we're still sitting here like we're playing fucking Morecambe and Marine every week. We can't trust our B team, our second string, our fringe players, whatever you want to call them, to get past goddamn Morecambe. Yeah, we'll just sit here and twiddle our thumbs. And just like Rez said, Villa have had Gerard Less. They've gone and backed him with Coutinho, which is a gamble I wanted to take. And they're going ahead and getting Luca Digne.
Yeah.
And what are Aston Villa doing? They're jumping ahead of everyone. They're trying to get the deal done before the other vultures and the big fish come in. Let's get this done. That's do we do?
Alex Ferguson used to do all the time. He got all of his stuff done before even pre-season started.
Yeah. What do we do? What do we do in January? The most important month and busiest month. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to fly to the fucking Bahamas. I'm going to fly out there. Listen, I've said this before. I don't know if it's because I live in Canada and I've lost dose of reality. But January around the world always follows December. Yeah? Do you know it's fucking coming?
Yeah.
So do you know what? Say to your investors that you've gone to barter, bend over with some KY jelly like he does for Real Madrid. Go do that in December. Go have your jollies then.
That's the point, exactly.
Not when a manager of Antonio Conte's stature is trying to get players in and has said repeatedly, this is not good. This is not. And he's now you can see the comment in there that he's getting animated. The way you can tell that he's not right, the last two games, he has not been his animated self on the touchline. He has not been. I was at Chelsea. Yes, Conte was doing a little bit of pacing, but there was not hardly anything from him. Tuchel, all right, it was the away team, whatever. Yesterday, he's just walking up and down, pissed off, like, what the fuck am I doing? We have. Listen, if he walks, he's not walking in February for me. He's not walking in February. This happened in the summer. He walks. But if we get rid of, if this man walks, have, in my opinion, the top three managers in world football right now are all in the Premier League, and it's clearly obvious who the other two are. And you can maybe add Tuchel, maybe add four elite managers.
Graham Potter, you mean?
Exactly, and Ralph Hasenhüttl, and
he will be. I tell you what, Graham Potter will be.
So you're looking at four of the most elite managers currently in the Premier League. If Conte walks, if and when, the only way is down. Mm-hmm. The only way is down. Yeah. There's no
what happens to Levy if that happens? I mean, his job is fairly untenable at the moment, but he will have 10 times more boos aimed at him than he had after that Man United game. And
from the bottom of my heart,
security, which you don't condone, but that's.
I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm going to kiss my grandparents' tattoo and the tattoo of my wife, like footballers do when they score a goal for their kids when they've got them there. If Conte walks or this transfer market isn't acceptable, watch me go. Watch me go. Rez, you have seen it close quarters. Rez has seen it very close quarters. Been at protest with me. Obviously, we were at the Levy when it was out. I will go berserk. Expect to see me, honestly, if this is still where it is, on the 31st of January, expect me 100%, and I believe a few others, because others are like, Brian, I'll come and support you. I will raise hell on transfer deadline day outside that training ground. Sky Sports, whenever those cameras are on, or when I will raise fucking hell, because with me or against me, for Levy or against Levy, Tottenham Hotspur is a club that means something to every football club. Is in everyone's heart, whether you're Tottenham or not. Tottenham Hotspur are the first of many things. We have an illustrious history, which is falling to pieces, and we are forgetting because of the lack of what we're doing now, whereas other teams are going on and building and winning trophies. That's why it's brilliant to have people like Tottenham Tantrum Gold showing these matches daily to remind people what we used to be.
Speaking to legends like Steve Perryman as well.
Exactly.
The values of the club that seem to be
we have values,
lost.
we have morals, we have a code of conduct. We stand for something as fans. Now, there are people around the world. I live in Canada now. Obviously, I'm back here for obvious reasons. You have people like Bryce, William Kelly, John Fitzpatrick living in Australia. I'm not going to go through the American and Canadian. You have Gaguma in Korea. You have people in South Africa. All around the world that get up at stupid o'clock or stay up till stupid o'clock to watch this football team. You have these people that all they think about is saving money to either buy stuff from the shop or to get over here and to witness and experience what you two get to see regularly as season ticket holders, me whenever I'm here, that give blood, sweat, tears, time, everything. We can't leave. We won't leave. We won't leave. But it gets me so frustrated when a few months ago on the Irish Hotspur, I saw William Kelly, who I've never met, who supported Spurs for decades, say, this is it. I'm coming off all the YouTube channels in the crowd. I'm not watching anything Spurs. My football club is dying, and I don't recognise it anymore. Yeah. And when I hear that shit,
it's true.
That pisses me right off. Because what is happening now with this parasite is goddamn unacceptable. And people will wake up. Like Reg said, we are now. I had that argument 1 week in. Now we're a third of the way through the market. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. Nada. Nothing. Chelsea. Everyone. Sorry, not Chelsea. Everyone's starting to make bids. Everyone's starting to make movement. You can't tell me. Not that I had this discussion today on We Are Tottenham TV when I called in. Luca Digne. Why the hell aren't we going for him? A left back, left footer that can set pieces. Then people said, oh, but you can't have 3 left backs. Well, you're wrong, because you can move Sessegnon back up to left wing. Sessegnon can do that. And then if by some chance and by some miracle, Real Madrid come in and activate Reguilon's clause and match the asking price, we can't do a damn thing to stop it. Not a damn thing. So you're one down again. Hugo still hasn't come out of a contract. Kane.
No, I don't understand
Kane wants to stay, but wants to see the club match the ambition. Well, you got the manager in.
Yep.
But now what are you doing to the manager? What are you doing to the manager? And apparently he's over here somewhere. I don't know why I'm pointing. Apparently Conte's over here. But yeah, it's honestly, and I come in for a lot of stick on Twitter sometimes from some stupid people and whatever.
A lot of it, I have to say as well, very unfair and
yeah, I mean,
kind of cowardly, really. When
I mean, thankfully,
by some
there's a guy,
people, not everybody.
No, there's a guy that I've had a bury the hatchet with and a really, really good talk with a guy called Killer Priest, where we were at war, but now we had a really nice talk. And Killer Priest, if you're watching, big up, mate. But there are some, and that's because, you know what? I think people see me now. You two know me very, very well. And you know that I know my Tottenham. I love my Tottenham. I am just very, very volatile when it comes to this subject. Because since Martin Jol has left, I've been this way. People don't know the me behind the scenes. The me that flew all the way to make sure I could get here for the protest. I'm back here now because of my mate Bob. That I will do anything for anyone. I go on channels all over whenever I can. They don't see Brian the person. They just hear me rant and scream and shout and leaving. But how many times do I need to be proven right before people go, do you know what? After all this time, and I can hear the Levianers now, oh yeah, but we still got time. No, we haven't. We could be out of the Carabao Cup.
Brian, it's a combination of none so blind, right? And those that don't want to believe. And
yeah, this is the thing, Rez. And you know, it's come to the point, Rez, where I'm actually at the firm belief that a lot of people now realise that we're right and the Levy out people but they're so stuck in saying, do you know what? I can't. I've given them so much stick, or I can't. They're doing it just to say that we're wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not going to happen.
A lot of the time, they don't want to acknowledge that they were wrong themselves.
Exactly. Now, like I said, if Levy, and I can't remember about to say this, but if Levy would have backed us for the next 5 windows or whatever, I don't mean with every player we wanted, but serious backing with the manager's approval, the players he wanted for a few windows. I'm gonna choose these words carefully because I know Cody's watching and he'll clip me. I would say, you know what? Well, there's just a long pause, so it's not. Oh no, you can still clip it and edit it. I would say, do you know what?
You'd suspend your vociferousness. Let's put it that
Thank
way.
you. See, this is why you're my legal representation. Thank you. Because I never said that would be it. But every single year, we go through the same. We entered this transfer window. Don't worry, Conte's here. Levy wouldn't let this happen. Don't worry, he wouldn't have come without assurances. Don't worry, things are going to change. I've heard this with every single manager since Martin Jol. They go, yeah, but it's different this time, it's Conte. Well, yeah, it was different that time, it was Mourinho. Yeah, it was different that time, it was Pochettino. Yeah, it was different that time, it was AVB. Yeah, it was different that time, it was Martin Jol. Same shit, different day.
Let me just get through a couple of comments and then we'll come through. Vlahovic simply saying, he'd be perfect for us, won't come due to our terrible situation. I have to disagree there. If Conte says, you've seen with Liverpool, one or two players can transform a team.
I think he means, Chris, the fact that we won't put a bid in.
Oh, right, okay. If it's that, then you're probably right. But if Conte said, I want you, and we put a bid in, like you say, Brian, that Fiorentina couldn't turn down, it'd come. Barnabas, Villa desperately trying to replicate what Tottenham did under Poch. I don't understand why we had that situation. It worked quite well, and then we've not tried it again. Simply Ace again, another couple of comments. Tottenham are dead because of eating, let's face it, and Real Madrid won't come in for Reguilon. He's been awful. I don't think he's been awful.
Well, that's
been a world-class player.
That's a matter of debate, but ultimately the point that Brian was making at the time still stands, right? If we had bid for Luca Digne, right? Fine, we might have technically had 3 left backs on the books, but that's competition, right? One of the biggest problems we have right now is that the first string know that they are safe in their positions. Not just, and it's actually a credit to the likes of Dyer, the likes of Davis, that even though they know that they're at the moment part of that first string, they still try. They put every last bit of effort onto the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out as well. I think Højbjerg does that as well. Whether he's at home or not, he still tries.
You got to remember as well, having 3 left backs on the book. Sorry, brother, 3 left backs on the book. Reguilon could go to Madrid. Technically, it's still a possibility until this summer ends. Sessegnon can't keep fit at the moment.
Yeah.
So you could have an out of form Reguilon, an injured Sessegnon, and it's like, oh shit, what are we going to do at left back? But then if all 3 are fit, you could probably say, right, Sessegnon, I'm going to play you a bit more advanced because you do have the history and the technical abilities to do it. And there's going to be competition for places here in these 2. Yeah. And what Digne also brings you is set pieces. What do we not have?
A set piece taker.
You know what? It's shocking. It really is shocking. It really is shocking.
I mean, I'd like to think that we will make some transfers, but it's I think it was Brad who said it. It was on. It might not have been Brad. I can't remember now. But it's like Ben was saying. It's only 7 days in, but then it becomes 10, then it becomes 14, then it becomes 20, and then all of a sudden it's the 31st. But I'll put it to you, Vez. I can't pretend to remember what you said, all those long words. I only know a few words with a few syllables. But if this whole Levy going to Barbados or Bahamas or wherever it is actually genuine and not like I think it's just him trying to make it look like he's doing something. If it is genuine and he does get some money, which won't happen, and then he does spend in this window 100 million, 150 million, will you then dispense your whatever word you said?
Depends on what it was I was saying at the time. No, what I'll say is this: look,
vociferousness or something like that.
Would I suspend
Was that the
my
word?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, look, we're not unreasonable people, right? We're not unreasonable people. What we want is not unreasonable. We want our club to act according to the status of the club that it is, which I've said it already. We're the 6th biggest club in this country. Every other club manages to find money to spend on players, right? Every player, Villa are spending money, Watford are spending money. The money is there somewhere. So why is it that apparently from the sort of rumours that I've been hearing, Levy thinks that he's got to do a share issue in order to raise capital to buy players?
You know what? I've got to say something. I've just seen a tweet, Rez. I've just got to say, I've just seen a tweet, and this is how pathetic it is. As Aston Villa prepare to unveil Philippe Coutinho and Luca Digne, Tottenham unveil a mural of Ledley King.
Yeah. And it's not even done by Tottenham. It was done by the bloody Supporters Trust.
Yeah. That's all. The biggest thing happening at Tottenham right now is Ledley King went to look at his own mural.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? This is where it is starting to, this is where it was that and the stuff like the European Super League that really drove me. I was always quite.
The Super League was what drove me to Levy out. I wasn't Levy out before that, but so fair enough. You want to piss off Tottenham fans, but they're potentially putting every other lower league fan out of
business, right? But when I look at it and I say to myself, they all seem to be able to find money from somewhere, right? Why can we not? Why is it that apparently Levy is currently going cap in hand to Joe Lewis, who has turned around and said, no, I'm more interested in art than Tottenham Hotspur? Fair enough. If that's what you like, no one, why'd you buy the fucking club in the first place though? Right. But it shouldn't even be a question. It should be a case of we can buy players if we want them. And we want them. We need them. We should be buying players. What is happening at the moment?
I've got a theory, though, Brian, and we'll come on to the Chelsea game in a bit. Do you think there's a possibility, and I'm worried that this could be, that if we do turn it around against Chelsea and get to the final, which is a possibility, we'll get through to that in a moment. We're not out of that. But if we do get through to the final, do you think there's a possibility Levy then can say, well, you've got the squad to beat the best of the best. You don't need anyone in January. Do you think that's a realistic possibility? Because I'm slightly worried that's why we haven't seen anything. And we've got this final in, 3 days?
Mate, that's your reality. My reality is look what he did to her last time we got to a final of this competition.
Well, he can't do that again if we do get through to a final. Sack another top manager. But
my favourite movie, Snatch, in the world, which I pretty much know word for word perfect. There is a scene where the two black jewelers are in their car, are running away from Bullet Tooth Tony, and Bullet Tooth Tony smashes his gun on their car when they're trying to run away, and Bullet Tooth Tony says, "Never underestimate the predictability of stupidity." That is, it is exactly what this man is capable of. I told you, I speak fluent Levy. Whatever he's saying, he does the opposite. It's that simple. I don't know why I'm doing hand movements out of camera shot because you really can't see what I'm doing here. So yeah,
it's like one of those bobbleheads in the car that you put on the dashboard.
Yeah. Just put the music on and I start. Listen, mate, Joe, what?
I just have to say, I love this comment. Bullet Tooth Daigle. I love that. If that's not on the next Tottenham on tour and you're called Brian Daigle on there, I'm going to be very unhappy.
Well, do you know what it is? The one I love, and if Mark Swifty is still in here, he'll know exactly what it is, and he'll probably put it in the comments before I finish saying it. I used to love the Attitude Era of WWE. Loved it. I mean, I'm obsessed with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like a major obsession. But obviously, the other person you have is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Steve Austin took a bit from the Bible and said, Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. So when I left after the Levy protest, I had Daigle 3:16 says, I just whooped Levy's ass. So that's the one I'm sticking to, rather than Bullet Tooth Daigle. But that is a good one. Daigle
Stone Cold Brian
316.
Daigle over here.
Daigle 316 is the one I'm using. Sorry, Stone Cold, if you're ever watching this, which I highly doubt.
You never know.
Although my cousin is trying. I say that my cousin is trying to move to America. Her best friend's there, and her best friend's father just happens to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, and I'm not joking. He's actually her sponsor. Listen, nothing surprises me with this man. So nothing surprises me with this man. Like I said, people have got to remember, people whether they were Levy in before they met me, and then over the turn of turn to Levy in, Levy out. Whether it's because of me or because obviously the Super League, the Jose, the manager debacle, the lack of whatever it is, or you're still firmly Levy in. I've had this since Martin Jol got sacked, and what I've got to remember, and what we have to remember as a fan base, is I kept thinking back about Arsenal and the filth of Manchester United. There are a lot of Manchester United kids that I grew up with at my level that knew nothing about, apart from Alex Ferguson, nothing about Ferguson. So now when they're seeing what they are, they're like, well, this ain't kind of what I'm used to, like trophies every season, finals. And then you look at people down the road with the filth. They grew up, my best mate grew up knowing nothing but Arsene Wenger. So there are a huge part of our fan demographic which have only known one thing, which is this parasite. And what they've seen with this parasite has been when footballers have been evolving from it's all about what's on the pitch to it's all about what's off the pitch, and the shiny stadium and the training ground and the skywalks and the merchandise. No, that's not what football is about. The fundamentals of football has been and will always be what happens on the grass and who is playing on the grass. And most importantly, that badge that we all wear and love.
These people who have sort of grown up only under the ENIC era, they're not stupid people. They should be able to know. They should be able to see that the skywalk, the stadium, the fucking merchandising, the NFL connections, all of this stuff is generating money. Where is the money? Where is
Show me the money.
Yeah. I personally think I
really feel like what's his name, like Cuba Gooding Jr. in
Show
Jerry Maguire.
me
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Where is the money, Mr. Levy?
Show me the money.
If you are spending it on servicing the debt for the stadium, okay, stop putting your feet into Tottenham. Do not step into Tottenham anymore, right? Because we're not going to take it much longer, right? I want to see us actually backing Conte, and however long he's here for, afterwards backing our next manager and our next manager and our next manager, as they promised they would. They said we'll build the stadium and that would be the game changer. Fine, the game has changed, but you haven't. Start changing, right? Because there's a whole load of hostility coming for him. There is a huge amount of hostility coming for him. Right?
Well, there is if it carries on like this, isn't there? I mean, I personally think as a chairman, you've got two jobs. You've got to make the club financially stable, which he has done, but then you've got to make the club successful on the pitch, which is where he's fallen down. So he's done half of it okay, or well, I should say.
You've got to remember, Chris, this man has the nerve to try and furlough staff during the pandemic.
Yeah.
He has the nerve to not sign anyone. He has the nerve to do everything. He has the nerve to say we're self-sustaining, and he won't put a penny in. But he then has the cheek to fly out to Bahamas and go, "Oh, can you give us some money? Put some of your own fucking $5 billion. You're not too hot. You're not too. You don't say no to yourself to give yourself a £3 million bonus for getting the stadium a year late. You're pretty quick to give yourself that. You're pretty quick to take the money."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's almost D-Day for him, isn't it? Because if we don't sign anyone in this January, he's then got to sign someone bloody quick in summer. Otherwise, Conte could easily walk. And then if Conte walks because of lack of transfers, then there's a whole army of negativity going to it.
If Conte walks in February, sorry, Chris, don't mean to cut you off. I just get my Levy Tourette's coming out.
So I did it twice to you, so you still got two in hand.
Okay, that's all good then. That's all good. You and me can have a good conversation on Wednesday.
I'm counting them, Brian. It's fine. You've
So
still got
I will tell you now, if, and like I said, I stick by what I say, that he's not going to walk in February. If February he does walk, I will tell you now, I'm very likely to get a divorce from my wife because I will not return home. I will not return home until he's gone. I'm not even kidding. I will not return. And I don't care what I have to do, whether it's by myself or with an army, I will not leave until that parasite has gone, by one way or the other. If Conte walks in February, I swear to you, people know when I say this, I'm a man. I swear to God. I don't know now. Now I've got a utensil from my beard trimmer. I'm doing a shame from Paxton Road. Jesus. I'm getting the next closest thing to me is a bottle, and I don't really fancy that in my hand. In this,
no. Let me get through to a few comments. Alan Harris, Villa are still spending the Grealish money. I'm not sure if they spent quite a lot of that on the 3 players when Grealish got sold.
And again, that's not how football finance works.
And also,
Villa, I'm gonna rant on this one. Villa's bank account does not have a 1 with 8 zeros after it. Okay, it doesn't. It never has, and it never will. That's not how football finance works. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and Nicholas Collison, Cody, you've been summoned. Time for you to click Daigle 316, please, sir. Rez, your angry Rez persona against shelf-side Spurs. If I see it just as Rez, I'm going to be very upset here. Certainly in this transfer window, when the transfer window is finished, so you can go back to normal Rez. Support the fans, support the team, support the manager. Simply ace. Enoch are laughing all the way to the bank while we fans suffer. And then 2 comments here, which Brian's wife doesn't really want to read. Conte won't last till the summer. 1st of February, he's gone with no sign, says Nicholas. And Simply Ace, I'll say this now, Conte will walk before next season. Hope I'm wrong, but I doubt it. I mean, all you can say is there's another, 20 days, so something could change. But I go back to it, one of the greatest things Alex Ferguson did, and there's hundreds, he got all of his signings in the summer done before they even went on pre-season. So when the first of the game of the season comes along, they're fully integrated. They know all their players. They know they've been, shout out to Shelfside Spurs from Nicholas here. But we could talk transfers, Levy all day. And we've got another 20 days to do that on not just this stream, Tottenham Tour, Shelfside Spurs. We are Tottenham TV, Tommy Talks Ball, Spurs Eurasian, all sorts. I'll start with you, Brian, on this one, and you'll probably laugh at me, but I'll go on with it anyway, because you know me, I'm super positive when it comes to Spurs and games, and then when we lose, it's an even more bigger kick in the teeth. But 2-0 down to Chelsea, do we have a chance? For me, I know Son's injured, which is obviously not a good thing, but we will have Kane back, we will have the Højbjergs back, the first team, if you like, and that stadium, I think, will be rocking. I think it will be super loud before the game kicks off. And then if we can go out like a train, like we did the last time I was there for a semi-final, the 5-1 to Arsenal, 14 long years ago. But we went out there like a train and we never let up. And if we can get an early goal within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's only 2-0. No away goals. Away goals don't count. So you could easily then concede a goal but win 3-1. It goes to penalties or extra time or whatever the stipulation is. Do we have a chance? For me, only if we go out like a train, if we sit back, because Chelsea are going to sit back a little bit at the start because there's no need for them to go like a bull in a china shop and get caught in a counter-attack and then go 2-1, only be 2-1 up. But we have to start well. We can't start like we started that first game, which... And I had Ankit on here on Friday as well, a Chelsea fan, big up Ankit. Whether he's saying that because it's a Spurs podcast, a stream, or he genuinely believes it, he thinks he's slightly worried that they could rue not being 4-0 up at this stage and the game being out of it. So I've ranted on a bit there and waffled on a bit there, Brian. But do we have a chance on Wednesday against Chelsea to turn that around and get through to the final?
Well, 100% we do. 100%. If we have to clarify. I mean, again, Lucas Moura showed how important he is. Lucas Moura, to me, is in the form of his life for us. And has become more and more vital game by game. we need to go out like a bullet out of a gun. But what that does, what we saw yesterday, I was at Stamford Bridge. What we did get to see is when we lose possession, whereas we were going back, forth, side, forward, back, side, forward, back. Chelsea, 2 passes and they're right in the heart of our defence.
Yeah,
that's how clinical they are, and we have to be very, very careful with that. But we have no option but to attack. Now, I'm going there, and I support
all three of us are, aren't we?
I support the 11 men on the pitch, the ones on the dugout, apart from Ndombele right now and Delhi, and Conte with every fibre. And obviously, I will support those two, but I just think they're arseholes. But I will support them until I die. I will give them absolutely everything.
Yeah,
and that stadium needs to be rocking. And it normally is for Spurs. I mean, when I went for my first game where we all met up was Spurs Chelsea. Yeah. And the stadium was brilliant for the first half. And then the second half, it just fell to shit because they brought Kante on and then it was game over. We need to literally, like you said, like a bullet out of a gun. There needs to be an early goal, or even if there's not an early goal, they need to. One of the things we haven't done is come out flying. We have not come out flying. It seems to this game there is no option but. There is no,
like you say, there maybe not a goal, but at least a couple of chances, good chances, early doors to show you're in for a game here. We're not sitting down and dying.
They need to keep the Spurs crowd up. They need to literally, we'll be up for it. But if they start off poorly, it could start turning. It
has to be the White Hart Lane version of the Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be the intensity that we showed. I think it was 16, 17, whichever year it was. I know that the outcome was bad, but the amount
there was fight there, wasn't there? There was fight and intent.
Exactly. There was fire there, right? Chelsea, as have been the case for however many years now, they are one of the super rich clubs. And we stood up to them and said, you know what? I don't give a shit how much money you spend. Okay, we're going to kick you around this park. Okay, because we want the results. We didn't get it, but the intent was there, right? What happened? The reason that it fell apart and we were so awful in that first half against Chelsea, obviously slightly better in the second half, but the reason we were so bad is because we were so timid.
There was that situation. I think it was Emerson who was fouled, and then whoever it was kicked the ball in his head. No reaction at all, was it? It's just like someone's just passed the ball out of play. And
it was Ndombele, but I think I can understand if there were reasons for that. I'll say that because he doesn't.
I think if Dyer was on the pitch, there wouldn't have been that reaction. I think he's a fighter. He wouldn't stand. And Vermeero again, but obviously he's injured. But Dyer should be back. I think he's probably over COVID and out of isolation now, whether he hasn't trained, but he has to play for me. But he's a fighter.
Our team doesn't have very many battlers. It's got one or two, either strong characters or characters that will put everything on the pitch, right? But we don't have that many, even within the first 11, let's say, the likes of I don't view Reggie as much of a sort of fighter in that sense, for instance, but Højbjerg, for instance, will battle. He's been run ragged and his form has gone to crap recently because of it. But he always fought. Skip is a fighter. Lucas Moura always tries. Dyer is a battler. Davis will try all the time. Hugo will always give his all. Is always sharp. Right now, I would love to have a Lamella.
You basically,
there you go.
Probably said it on my stream on Friday, and Alan's just said it here. We miss Lamella,
we miss Lamella. It's got to be from the minute that whistle goes. It has to be right up in the faces of those Chelsea players with every ounce of hate and bile and competition and aggression and desire to win, and every single thing that an elite sportsman calls on and draws on. The top level ones draw on all of those things in every match, and it's got to be every single one of them, 11 of them, from the minute that first whistle goes, has got to have that intensity. Without that, we stand zero chance. We go at them timidly like we did the last time. We'll either gift them more goals or they'll just score and it'll be game over.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, for me, the first half last week, or Wednesday just gone, for me, it was attitude. The attitude wasn't there to go win. It was just a awful attitude. That's how giant killings happen, when the team at the top take the team too lightly and don't have the correct attitude. Chelsea had the complete opposite, winning every 50-50. You only have to look at the first goal with Alonso. I'm getting that ball. Emerson stood there. But the lack of the attitude there is why things like Tanganga's terrible pass, just rolling it, lazy pass, complacent pass, and Emerson not seeing Alonso coming. And really, he should have been just bottom to the floor, to put your WWE comment in. Take the yellow card, stop him coming in. But when you've got that bad attitude, you don't think like that. When you've got that top attitude, you put that extra effort in, and it's so much easier to take that top attitude and dial it down to let's be more defensive than be more defensive when the other team are up. We've got to step this up.
Yeah.
And this isn't a new thing. Even under Pochettino, our first halves quite a lot of the time were absolutely god awful. And then whatever has happened at halftime happened, and then we've come out a different team. But we need that. We need a Tottenham Hotspur night at that stadium. And the fans will do their part, certainly at the start. The fans under Pochettino, prime Pochettino, what I noticed certainly at the stadium was that previously, when we conceded a goal, it was all doom and gloom groan. When we conceded a goal in prime Poch, it was, come on, we can do this. And we've lost that, obviously, for obvious reasons. We need that back again. The fans need to do that, even if it's just for one night, if we do go down. And the players need to respond. I don't have a question. I've just ranted there. Anything you want to discuss?
Again, it comes down to
ranting all night.
It comes down
I'm the
to
host. I'm supposed to answer questions. You're allowed to rant. I'm asking you questions. I'm supposed to have a rant that points to something.
No, where you were pointing to and where you were was mentality. That's where you were going. And
one more thing as well. Chelsea fans started singing in that first half. I was watching it on TV. Stand up if you hate Tottenham. I was so furious. I stood up. That's how angry I was. I've never ever done that before. But yeah. That
was the second half. I mean, Chelsea in the first. I mean, first of all, Stamford Bridge is one of the biggest shitholes I've ever been to. It did that for a club in the most expensive part of London and the country. What an absolute fucking dive of a stadium that is, with the acoustics of a goddamn of a dive bar in America. It's horrible. It's horrible. You can hardly hear what they're saying. It's like that's what it sounded like. The acoustics.
That's not the acoustics.
I know, and I realised afterwards that is Chelsea fans talking. Yeah, I realised. But the one thing you can't doubt is those players have got mental. Like you said, prime Poch. Those players. You had a Ndombele, you had a Wanyama, a Vertonghen, a Toby, a Walker, a Kane. So we'll go, all right, guys, let's fucking do this. Let's go. And the fans can feel it. The fans can feel it. They knew the players were on the pitch, had the mentality to go, we'll give them a 1-0 head start. Let's go. Let's now show. And that's what we try to encourage them on the pitch. That's our job as a 12th man, to G them up. The Spurs fans, again, away at Chelsea, were absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. Non-stop singing, outsung Chelsea. Really were fantastic. For that, no. You get the fans on your side by putting in good performance. They're with you when they see you giving effort, when they see you giving pride. Every single one in that stadium and everyone watching at home would pay to be in their position and wear that illustrious shirt and do a job that they're doing. Forget the payment. Just to say they pay for Tottenham Hotspur, they would do anything. Even if they weren't technically that good, they would still run through goddamn brick walls.
Yeah.
And here, oh no, can't bothered. Yeah, whatever. It's a fundamental problem, which again starts from the very, very top. When you accept mediocrity, when you allow this to happen for years and years and years, this sets in. This sets in. And I just pray Spurs turn up. I know the Spurs fans will be behind them, but this has got the chance to go very, very toxic, very, very quickly again. But this time, there won't be a single person saying Conte out like they would try to say Nuno before we drowned them out with Levy out. It's either going to go complete Levy out, or there's going to be a problem between fans, which is what we don't want.
No.
What we don't want at all. That's not like I don't condone it as a Spurs fan. I don't condone it as a Levy out person. I don't want to see fights between fans. But it's either going to turn.
Perfect. That is ambrosia for Levy if we start turning on each other, right? Because it deflects attention from him, right? He would love that.
I want more of a bird's eye dessert myself.
Right? But the point is that it is obvious where the problem lies. The problem lies in the chairman's office, right? It stems from the top. Okay, it is a cultural thing. These are the problems that exist at Spurs, are cultural problems, as well as the more logistical stuff that you want, like players and stuff like that. But it all sits in that chairman's office, right? And the reason that I'm so frustrated right now is because this was a golden opportunity that's been handed to him again. Once again, he's been given an opportunity to build on something, to change something, to actually turn Tottenham into what it's supposed to be. And 10 days of it seem to have been spurned. That's the problem. A third of this opportunity, he seems to have wasted. And that's where the problem is. Now, who knows? I know, cloud cuckoo land. Who knows? In the next 20 days, he might wow us all. I don't think he will, but he might. And if he does, it's like, okay, fine. You seem to have
do it again in the summer. It'll be one window doesn't save everything. It has to then continue and continue to build
permanently. Every window, not just this window and the summer window and maybe the window after that. Every window from now on, right? That will demonstrate change. If he doesn't demonstrate that, I'm sorry, he will be on not even borrowed time. It will be overly leveraged time with most fans, because it's not acceptable for us.
And also, don't you think it's rather convenient that the parasite is in the Bahamas the week we're at home to Chelsea and Arsenal?
Yeah, well, this is it. I don't know. I don't know. Part of me is actually a bit surprised because he's got a free ticket to every match, and those are the ones that he misses.
Yeah, but I think he knows why he's going to miss it, because if the results don't go our way.
Well, yeah, this is it. The North London derby could turn very nasty.
So I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you now. I don't care. I don't care if people from the club get back to hearing this. I don't give a. I've gone past giving a fuck. I've said that if we lose to Chelsea or we lose to Arsenal, when everyone leaves the stadium, I'm not leaving the stadium. And when they're doing the interviews outside, I'm going to go right to where those interviews are, and I'm going to be screaming, "Levy out, Levy out, Levy out!" Enough. And I'm not the only one.
The 16th. Listen, if things go badly against Arsenal, it'll be the 6th, and we've not done any business. It'll be the 16th. It'll be half the window has gone, right? We've just lost. That can turn toxic very, very quickly, right? And he will need to start being not in terms of threats to his physical safety or anything like that. I'm just talking about in terms of the attitude that he will be shown by his fans. He will need to tread very carefully in Tottenham, right? Because it will be a point of almost untenableness at that point, you know?
Well, if he doesn't do anything, then Conte will walk, and it'll become 10 times worse for the fan base as well, that you've let an elite manager go. But
He's got nowhere to go. That's the thing about Levy. This is why I still have that glimmer of hope, because I think, how can someone be that stupid as to not understand just how little rope is left to him? How little rope he's got left. There is nowhere to go. No more statements about our DNA. No more statements about, how much we've spent on players, which are just a fudging of the figures. There is nothing left in the Levy excuse tank that he can call on.
It's not even that for me. It's how can you make in your job, if you make a mistake, obviously you make a mistake, don't do it again. If you make it again, warning. If you make it again, another warning. If you make it again, you're probably fine. There's reports and reports from managers, from Glenn Hoddle to Redknapp to Poch to Martin Jol to whoever, Mourinho as well, because someone's just put Diaz in the comment, which I'll come to in a bit, of the managers wanting this player, Levy not going to get them or getting another one. And that's what you hire a manager for, surely. Yeah, otherwise, absolutely. You're the manager. And
that's why you hire Paratici for.
Yeah, and if we have Conte now, who has shown, if you get him the players, he can win leagues, he can win cups, he can certainly make you compete with those leagues. And if he doesn't do that again, I mean, I dread to think what will happen. I wasn't at the Man United game. I think it was my dad who was at that game and said it was very unpleasant. And if this carries on, Chelsea and then Arsenal, like you say, I mean, it can get even worse. Just a few comments regarding the game here, the Chelsea game. I'm assuming this is going out like a train from Alan. We should have done that at the bridge after the energy they used against Liverpool. And simply Ace, we need to show grapefruits in the second leg to have any chance. And in Spurs account number 1, how you doing, buddy? I want Diaz from Porto or Vlahovic, otherwise I'm disappointed. A bit late to the party on that one, but thank you so much for watching and the comment. If you go back maybe an hour, you come through to all of the transfer talk. But in terms of
what do you mean lack of transfer talk?
Yeah. Well, it was transfer talk. It's just that we've got no transfers to talk about, but it was transfer talk in a way. But yeah, in terms of the game, Vez, I'll come to you first. How do you think Chelsea will approach this? Because I personally think they'll sit back a little bit.
I think they will.
Being that they don't want to come to us with us like a train, be open, concede a goal. Is there an element that, of how easy it was for them at the start? They'll see how we line up and how we start off playing. And if it's like the first half, 5 minutes in, we'll just go kill this game off. Or do you think they will be a bit more disciplined and a bit more conscious of the kind of narrow lead, and then, all right, well, we'll just go for a 2-0 then?
I think that Chelsea will wait to see how we go about them, basically. If we are tentative, like we were in the first game, if we are, just sort of knocking it about and no real intent, I reckon because they are winners, their killer instinct will just kick in. They'll go ahead, try and nick a goal or two and just completely destroy the tie. And then it will just be a training exercise because our heads will drop and we won't bother. If we go about them, if we frighten them, right? Because that Chelsea team are capable of being frightened. If we frighten them, show them fight, show them fire, show them real competitive spirit, we can get a result. I'm not saying we will. I'm not saying it will be easy, but it is possible. But it all depends on ourselves. It all depends on ourselves. They're not going to do us any favours.
Yeah, and that, Brian, leads into the players have to believe they can win. Conte will believe they can win. I think that's why he took Son off, or he might have been carrying an injury. It's definitely why he took Moore off. Let's go for a 2-0. Let's not get any worse. 2-0, shore it up, go and beat them at the lane. But the players have to believe that they can win. I mean, if you're a player and you don't believe you can win, there's no point in even playing. You've got to believe you can win. And all three of us on here have said we can win and we believe we can win. Do you think the players will believe that?
Well, this is the thing, Chris. I mean, you spoke about now. This just shows how stupid our squad is and how we've been run. He took Moore off. Stan, we didn't know that had an injury. He might have been aware to it. We certainly weren't as fans, but he took Moore off because he wanted to rest them. Because he said, right, let's just get more defensive. Let's just make sure it's 2. But then, so shit are we that you had to bring them all on to try and get past Morecambe. So the rest we gave them and the rest you plan to give him yesterday,
Cancelled out.
all got cancelled out because he can't trust people.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'll say about Lucas Moura, for me, Lucas Moura plays better when he's not rested. So I'm happy he came on. He seems to be one of those guys that he thrives on playing regularly, and the more he plays, his body seems to be the reverse. He seems to get more into games and more confident.
He could be crucial, couldn't he? Because he's the only one, even when we were terrible, that looks to go forward and drives at people. And as we know from watching football for decades, defenders do not like pace, and they do not like pace running at them, so that they're running backwards. And that's what he gives you.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine the thought. Imagine the thought it had been if we had signed him, Adama Traore and Lucas tearing down the wing at you. You'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to need a few Red Bulls before this game just to bloody keep up. But it'd be non-stop. But listen, Lucas Moura I don't think Chelsea will rest players. Look, in the first game, they brought on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Djokovic, and Christian Pulisic on as their subs. As their subs.
Yeah.
Right. They've got
who hasn't played in months,
and I love Loftus-Cheek. A couple of years ago, I would have done anything to get Loftus-Cheek. I mean, obviously, we don't do business with them, and they don't do. But I think he's a great player when he's fit. He's a great player. I didn't realise how big. I mean, we were sitting very, very close to the front on the lower, so you got to see them. But Loftus-Cheek is a goddamn unit. He is a machine. But yeah, again, we go back to mentality, Chris. But listen, on that note, I am going to have to leave you because I promised to go on the Irish show. Then I've got a meeting with Tottenham on tour at 10:15. So I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of my lawyer.
Yeah, we're pretty much wrapped up. There's not really anything else to talk about, really. But before you go, Tottenham on tour. Again, congratulations, 2,000 subscribers. Where can people find you?
Yeah, they can solely find us on YouTube. We've got a Twitter account run by Brian Ireland, which is just at Tottenham on Tour. My personal Twitter is just my BRI, then my family name 79. We've got a lot of things coming. Tottenham on Tour. I mean, we're growing at such a rapid rate at the moment. I mean, like I said, we're at 847 Christmas Eve. We're at 2,100 and something last time I checked. And it's thanks to everyone that's in the chat right now on your channel. And everyone should like both these two guys' channels. Obviously, Let's Talk Tottenham. If you haven't subscribed and you're just watching now, so push that thumb for like. Hit that subscribe button. Change it from red because we don't like red as Spurs fans to the grey, and hit that bell. And then obviously, if you want legal advice, I've got them on retainer, so you shout out luck. But if you want to listen to Angry Red or multiple different faces of red, go to Shelfside Spurs because you got the best legal mind, you've got the funniest laugh in the end, the best laugh on YouTube. If you ever need to laugh, just go watch the end. And obviously Johnny Einstein, and then you got Nick, Barry, Sean, Greg, whatever the fuck the name he goes by every single day. Nick, who's in the chat as well. But yeah, Chris, it is always a pleasure, brother. We'll talk Wednesday morning and sort everything out, and I'll see you at Wednesday evening or Wednesday afternoon.
Yes, and hopefully by the evening we've got something positive to talk about as well, not like the last time.
Let's just hope. And then, Red brother, I'll see you there as well.
Absolutely, mate.
So I'm just going to do my normal. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Cheers, Brian. Always a pleasure having you on. Welcome anytime.
Thank you. And as always, Levy out.
So like you said, hit the like, hit the subscribe here, and then go over to Tottenham on Tour and do the same thing there. Rez, he did a pretty good job of describing your channel for you. But anything you want to add, and where can people find Shelfside Spurs?
I'm supposed to be his lawyer. I'm supposed to represent him, but no. Please come do watch Shelfside Spurs show. I always describe it as anarchic. Wherever we go, wherever we're on other people's streams, we tend to derail them and turn them into sort of little mini versions of our own and talk about very, very weird stuff, as well as Tottenham. You get my rant, you get Kev's crack. And it's a lot of fun. We get Jens and the quiz. Every Thursday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be having some special content coming next month. Can't really say much more than that, but yeah, there's interesting things in the pipeline. Do please come like and subscribe and watch us and get involved in the chat. As I say, if you want to see some random odd ramblings from me, you can follow my Twitter handle at @bat_spur on Twitter. And yeah, we'd love to see you.
Excellent. And yeah, as well as subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll then be notified when all 3 channels are going live and when they've got shows coming out. Just one more comment, Simply Ace here. Whatever the result is, we need to leave everything on the pitch and not worry about what if. Very similar to Amsterdam in that second half. Leave everything on the pitch. And I mean, can you imagine that Amsterdam game if we played like we did in the first half against Chelsea and we go out of a semi-final but with a whimper? There's nothing worse than losing a game of football with a whimper and not being able to say we did everything we could. So that's what we need to do. Yeah.
The worst words in football are "we deserved to lose."
Yeah.
Those are the worst words in football, right? Or "they deserve to lose." Worst things. Even if we lose, if we go out there and give a good account of ourselves, at the very least, we can say we did our best. That's the point. We didn't do our best against Chelsea. We didn't do our best against Morecambe. We've not done our best for a long time. That's the point.
And being that Brian talked about the attitude here in WWE, I'll go with another quote that Undertaker once said: "There's no shame in getting your ass kicked, but there's no honour in not trying at all." And that's absolutely true. So hopefully, I'll see you on Wednesday, Rez.
Indeed.
Looking forward to that. I haven't met you before, so that'll be a real joy. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'll see Brian and hopefully a few more of you there as well. And hopefully we have something to celebrate after the game when we all leave the stadium. But yeah, until then, we are still in the FA Cup, even though it seems a long while ago. And there are 21 days left, 3 weeks left. But time's running out to start making moves. So hopefully by this time next week, there's a lot more positivity. We're in a final. We've got some transfers in. We've got some of the deadwood out, but obviously that remains to be seen. Be back on Friday, the North London Derby preview, and then dissecting whatever happens on Wednesday. Hopefully it's a positive show. But yeah, and thanks so much, Rez, and to Brian as well, and to everyone who watched and hit the like, hit the subscribe, added comments. Be back on Friday. Until then, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you so much for watching. For everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments, before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter @Talk Tottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!